Hello and welcome to another episode of Building Minnesota RØKKR. I'm your host, Ashley, aka Midnite. We got Brett Diamond in the building again, and we're here with Alexx Carpenter, aka Alexx with two X's. Show off the little hoodie there. Two X's with the name on it. If you're listening,
right there.
Alexx is wearing a hoodie with his name on it from the league. It looks.
This is the CDL hoodie.
Yeah, that looks super slick.
It's a nice hoodie. I like this hoodie.
That's super slick. Appreciate you guys listening. If you're listening on any platform you can listen to podcasts on, please give us a rating. Much appreciated. If you're watching, hello, subscribe, and all of that great stuff. So today we have Alexx on. Alexx, you're British.
I am British.
That's like amazing. Like I wish I had your accent because I know it doesn't make sense because like I live in America and I grew up here, but like I always see British people and I'm like, no matter what, like you could say literally anything and I'd be like, wow, he's classy.
Well, that's the thing with my accent. Like I have a pretty, what's the word? Mine's like a standard like accent. Like I always think, the accent I wish I had was an Australian accent.
Dude,
I like Australian accents.
That's my favorite accent.
Yes,
but like
100%.
And maybe I'm too American by saying this, but like, and I don't mean to offend anybody, but our Australian accents and British accents kind of similar.
Well, I get that a lot. People think I'm like Australian, and like I don't know why. Maybe like that's.
I've worked with people from England and Britain, from Australia, from South Africa, so like the accents, like I can tell the difference, but that could be some fun content. Have people try to guess
where the
accent's from.
Yeah,
where specifically are you from?
So, see, I'm from a place called. I live in Southwater. Like, obviously, not many people know where that is. Like,
shout out to Southwater.
Yeah, exactly. Shout out to Southwater. It's near London. Like,
okay.
Do you know where Brighton is?
No idea. I've never been to London. I've never been across the pond.
You've never been to
I'm
London?
uncultured. Yeah.
If only we went to the event,
I know.
You could have gone.
I probably would have wanted to go. Yeah.
I mean, I was disappointed that we missed that event, honestly.
Yeah, because we were originally scheduled to go there.
We were meant to go, then the schedule changed, and we didn't end up going, and I was kind of like, I was disappointed because the fact it's in London, and then the fact we're just generally missing an event, like, especially after ours, like, I just wanted to go, keep the momentum, but
yeah,
what it is.
It's tough having this long break after going 2-0 and hosting the event, to have to sit and wait for a month.
Yeah.
It's a long
especially
time.
watching event, that's the worst for like, if you say like to any like player or whatever, watching event is like, it's the worst. Like, you don't want to watch, especially like when you technically you could be playing, but you couldn't because you're not on the schedule.
Yeah,
Do you know
I think that's going to be like an adjustment too this year, because in the formats before this, like we did have like some matches where some of the teams weren't there, but a majority of the big tournaments were all like everybody's there.
Exactly,
it's open, and I think that the league did a really good job from going from the predetermined matches and matchups to a tournament format, but it's still not the full like tournament where all teams there. So if you guys don't know, 8 of the 12 teams are at each of the I don't know if you want to call them minors or what you call
home
it.
series.
Home series. Home series.
That's a good word
but
for
in
it.
terms of like championships, I wanted to ask you this, Alexx, because there's this big kind of back and forth within the Call of Duty community right now. Is like, do these tournaments where there aren't all 12 of the pro teams, so there's 8 teams, do those count as a championship? And I wanted to know kind of your perspective. Is that a chip if you win one? I'll let you know my opinion after, but I'd love to hear kind of yours.
Honestly, I would say it does count, because at the end of the day, like, you don't determine what teams go. Do you know what I mean? Like, you could technically go to an event, all right, say where the 2 best teams don't. At the moment, 2 best teams face Chicago easily. You could go to an event where it doesn't have those 2 teams, win it. I'm still counting that, like, do you know what I mean? Like,
well, and to this point, like Crimsix, obviously the winningest player in Call of Duty history, most chips. If you go back and look at some of those older tournaments, like those were also invitationals, or maybe there was a UMG event where there weren't all of the teams there, but I can't remember which team it was. It was so long ago, but there were teams where like not all the quote unquote good teams were there, and then this other team won, and it counted as a championship.
I mean, like I said, you can only beat who's there.
Yeah.
Like, it's not my fault if this team isn't there and we win the event. Like, I'm still counting that. Do you know what I mean?
What do you think about? So obviously at London, and I thought this was kind of interesting too. There's no like keepsake from that tournament. Like, there's no trophy.
Yeah.
And I've seen like teams discussing on Twitter like, well, we're going to make I don't know if it was like a medal or a trophy or something like that, but what do you think about like the teams kind of almost being responsible for that? Would you want us, for example, at our homestand in May, would you want us to like make a trophy for that? What do you think about it?
Honestly, like I would have thought CDL would have done something, like,
Same.
because I didn't see, like I watched the finals, but I didn't see, like, you know what I mean, when they went up.
It went so fast after they won. It was over.
I seen on Twitter people were saying like there wasn't any trophies or anything. I was like, how can you technically win an event and not get anything? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, you won that event, like
you get them points.
You get the points. You do get the points, but like you should get something.
We'll make a trophy when we host in May. May 9th and 10th is our next home series. We'll make a trophy for whoever wins. Hopefully it's us, right? Hopefully you're holding that trophy up.
Yes.
I've actually thought, should we, just so we can start to fill, like, we have something that could be a trophy case in the building, like, just so we can start to fill it.
Just in case.
We might make something for the teams that went 2-0 launch weekend, just so we can get something for ourselves, and we'll get one for the other teams too, and start to fill up that case. Right?
Yeah, no, I think that'd be really cool, and I think too, like, and the lead up to the first event here in January was insane. It was, come on board, we're building the roster, we're building the brand, we're building all of this first event stuff. We were insanely busy the first few months of this franchise. I really wanted to get a special trophy for our matchup with Toronto. I was thinking, like, I'm still envisioning like a big wooden base with like this huge like compass pointing north on it, like
North trophy.
Yeah, like, but now we've won it, so if we make ourselves a trophy, we look kind of like D-bags.
Well, they're in our group in Atlanta. So,
are they?
Yeah.
So we may play them.
We could play them.
We're not guaranteed to play them, but we could.
Actually, I did not even know that. All I know is our first game is versus Paris.
Yeah,
that's
does that carry a special rivalry for you?
To an extent, because obviously, like, I was on REKKR last year, and on Paris is Zach, Zed, and then who I team with. Like, I'm pretty good friends with them, so it's like, it's one of those, like, I obviously don't want to lose.
Yeah, you never want to lose your buddies.
Exactly, 100%, because you can't, because, like, if you lose to them, like, they have the rights, the bragging rights, they can say what they want, and you can't say anything, because they won the game.
Dude, I wish I was British. You hear how he says can't?
I have no idea.
It's just like
I say stuff, and everyone's like, oh, like, everyone just starts laughing and stuff, like, why I said it like that, and I'm just like, that's just how I say it. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
When I was with the NFL, I worked some of the early NFL games at Wembley Stadium, and I have a couple of really good friends that work out of the office there, and we would just constantly give each other a hard time of like the words that just mean something totally different. And sometimes it was the NFL, so it's not a field, it's a pitch, right?
Exactly. Yes.
And just like even what you'd call elevators and what we'd call where
where
the broadcast booths were, and just like all these little terms that you deal with when you're operating an event, which is like it was truly like speaking two different languages.
Yeah.
So when we were in London, they'd give me a hard time, and then if they were working an event in the U.S., like if they came over to work a Super Bowl or something, then I'd give them a hard time if they used the English word for it.
Yeah, that's funny.
I'll say stuff and they literally don't have a clue, because like
different words.
Yeah, I'm saying, it means what they think, but it's just different. Like, it's a different word. Like.
Yeah.
Yeah. So are you 19? 19.
20.
20. Okay.
Yes.
Did you just turn 20? Did I make that up?
Like.
Who just turned 20? I think Devin did.
ASIM
just turned 20. Okay,
20.
so you're both 20, the crew.
Yes, we're both 20.
So but you've like literally moved across the world. You left your
I
home.
did.
You left your home in England. Moved
Moved
across the world to Minnesota. Thank you for doing that, by the way, because we're so glad to have you. And I know, like, at the beginning, especially having you over there at the start, it was tough to scrim.
Oh, it definitely.
You're just at a severe disadvantage.
It definitely was tough.
Like, did you find yourself like you'd be getting challenged by certain players and just feeling like you're getting BS'd a little bit?
Yeah, it was like one of those, like, I honestly, like, I wasn't playing like awful or anything. Like, surprisingly, like, we were doing.
That's
like,
what I heard. I heard
we
like
were doing
the
well.
guys kept telling
they
us.
were like, I'm surprised how well he's doing.
We were doing like generally very good considering the circumstances. Like, especially Justin was in Vegas. Like, we were playing on like East Coast because
so that's Vegas to the UK.
We tried to play as most East Coast as well to like benefit me as well. So that messed up Justin. So me and him were both. I mean, obviously me more. But then Justin was playing at somewhat of a disadvantage as well. So it was tough. And it was stressful, especially the time zone. Like, you have to think the time zone.
Yeah, because
like,
you were practicing it really late.
I'd be playing at like sometimes 1 in the morning, 2 in the morning, and like, you got to think when you're scrimming, like, especially because I want to play good. Like I'll drink an energy drink at 2 in the morning. Like I'm trying to improve. Like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I'll be up late when I was in England. Like my pattern was not good at all.
Yeah, you were up till like 6, 7 in the morning.
It really it depended. Like, because especially if we went over stuff.
Yeah.
I could be up so late, and
the sun's coming
rough.
up. You're like.
It was rough. It was rough, but like I kind of just had to do it. Like start of the game, like you want to like grind, like you want to become like the best. Like I had to do it.
Had to do it to him.
Exactly.
So I mean, obviously you've come to the U.S. for events before, but what's it like to live here? What do you think of the food? Like, are you okay? Like, you doing well? We're trying to make it a really welcoming atmosphere for you. And I told your mom, because I met his mom, Pam, at the event. She's so sweet. Hi, Pam, if you're watching. I'm sure you are. She's so sweet. I was like, we're going to take care of him. Like, anything he needs, like, we got him. We'll be his family away from family. What do you think so far of Minnesota and living in America? And is the food up to standard? We were actually trying to think of, like, a video that we could do where we could take you to a place in Minnesota that maybe specializes in, like, an English breakfast or something and have you try it. But so what do you think so far?
I mean, honestly, especially where we live, like, it's really nice here. Like, I like living here. Like, obviously there's the one, like, problem, the cold, like, but
it's about to get warmer.
This week's been
this week's rough.
Last night, like I said, when me and Devin were here playing, like,
we
got
went
to the car
and I know Devin's car.
The doors were frozen. It was that cold. Like, these are the conditions we live in. Like, it's so cold. But
I am Minnesotan. So I have remote start, and it's my first time though. I'm not gonna I'm not that posh. Ooh, I used an English word. Let's go.
Especially fancy.
Yeah, cool. I'm not that fancy.
My car might be older than Alex, and Ashley's Ashley's flexing.
I just got a brand new car. I used to have like a car. So my first ever car was a 1994 Chevy Lumina. You probably can't even picture it. I'm so sorry. It was like an ugly sedan with 4 doors. Huge, drove like a boat, and like I had to key unlock it, and one time my lock froze, and there's like spray you could buy for it. So anyway, yeah, it's cold here.
It definitely is cold.
But so you're gonna experience like some good things though, because one of my favorite things about Minnesota weather is, yes, the winter is a little long and it sucks sometimes, but the seasons change. There's 4 very distinct seasons here, and I didn't really realize that some other places don't have that. Like Texas has weird seasons. Yeah, so like it's gonna be spring, everything's gonna thaw out, everything's gonna get green.
That's what I got told. Like, it actually has seasons, like technically like England. Like,
it's very similar to England weather, I believe. So it will be. I mean, it may take like a month or 2 still, or 3, but it will thaw out.
We're not that far from it starting to warm up.
No, and we had, I mean, I know this week's rough, but we had a pretty mild winter. Anyway, we can get off the weather, but.
Yeah. So, Alex, so while we're talking about Minnesota though, like what drove you here? Like, why did you pick this team when you had what I'm sure were many options in free agency?
I know he had options too, so I was really happy.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, like, it comes down to like a lot of things. Like, for one, like the team. Like, obviously, my goal is to win, and I wanted to team with people who have won. And obviously this team has people who have won at champs, like the biggest tournament like you can win.
Well, Salt's MVP of champs.
Exactly, like
MVP.
You can't get much better than that. Like, and I don't know, like I've always thought like the EU scene's good and everything. Like the London team is good, obviously, but like I've always thought down the line, like team with Americans, and you know what I mean. Like that's like the play to make. Do you know what I mean? Like that's how you like expand, because it like. Most of the time, people in EU teams, they just stay in EU teams. Like, I could have just technically just stayed in the EU team and just gone like that. But like, I kind of wanted to like expand. Like, do you know what I mean? Like,
because
try something different.
Yeah, a lot of the British folks would stick together on teams, and especially going into franchising. Like, there only is like a majority of the player talent is North American, so to block yourself off from that, not that people will block themselves off, because I mean this is now a merging of the 2 scenes, I believe. Yeah. But like to your point, like now you've put yourself in a place where you're broadening your horizon more than other English players, and I think like when we were building this team, we would look at you and think like, this dude's so like underrated. Like I think you could be like at least like top 2 or 3 like best British players. Obviously I'm very biased and you're sitting right here next to me. But like I truly believe that based on the stats, based on your World War II season, which was insane, like you're so new and fresh still, so there's a lot of future that you have.
I mean, I've always kind of thought the same, like especially it's mainly as like because like my brand and stuff like that, like Twitter. Like, I don't use it a lot. Like,
yeah.
people don't really like.
You don't even have Instagram,
yeah,
bro. It's 2020.
Like, people just don't really like probably know me like in that way. So that's definitely a reason why. Because obviously people like the fans like players like you scumps like all that.
Yeah.
So like I'm always kind of gonna be like that. Like, I'm hoping to change that, obviously.
Yeah. Well, I mean, look at you right now.
Exactly.
You're right here with us now.
We film content, we do stuff, like, I also enjoy it, like, but yeah.
And that was our outlook when we built the roster, though. Like, we never looked at people's social media followers.
No.
We weren't picking players based on who had the most Twitter followers. Because we wanted, to your point, we wanted a roster that could compete and win. And
exactly, that is the goal.
Ashley and obviously when Saint and Jake came on board, them too. But like Ashley was the one saying, "Hey, these are the guys we should go after."
Yeah.
We heard rumors of some teams that were picking based on social media following. Our outlook was, let's get some guys who want to win, want to work hard. We're gonna produce a ton of content, and hopefully, we'll help you build your brand over time.
Yeah,
but
anything you need, we're here for you.
I mean, that is a plan, but like as well with our team, like I kind of knew like the way everyone was to an extent, like
like not a huge ego.
Yeah, no egos, like no one's like selfish, like everyone on this team's like chill, like you can work with. Do you know what I mean? So like when you're in a team with good, like our vibes obviously are like very good, like everyone's willing to like do whatever to win, like. It's just a recipe for like success, like if the skill, everything's there, it's just on you really, like make it work.
And is that one of the things? So when obviously in your circumstance, you probably assumed that you would have to move if you got onto a franchise team so that you could be NA based. But was that a factor at all? Like knowing, because I think one of our first calls with you and your agent, I was like, yes, we want these guys here. We're gonna provide you a place to live, provide you a place to come and work every day. Was that at all a factor, or was that just like a bonus because you already knew you would be moving?
I mean, it's obviously just like nice. Like I didn't really think of like that wasn't like a reason like I decided to like join this team. Do you know what I mean? Like obviously like it helps, but like I said, joining a team, like a lot of things go into it. But like I mean, this like I couldn't have ever like imagined this. I literally said it to Devin last night when we were walking out. Like literally all of this is pretty much because of like the team.
Exactly.
Like all of this right here, this place is ridiculous. Like I couldn't have ever like imagined it was like this.
Yeah. Well, and we loved like seeing you guys come in. So if you guys don't know, we're obviously here at the RØKKR offices, and we see our guys come in every day at the same time. They get ready to scrim. We pretty much don't bother them, but we do like organize content with them. You guys do stuff a lot outside of the game, which is awesome. I think that because I've seen teams, like not even just Optic, but other teams, that I've witnessed previously, like they go to an event, they maybe go to a team dinner, and then they just don't hang with their guys. Or if they lived in the same place, they would just kind of F off to their room and not really do many like camaraderie related things. And obviously like there's times when I'm sure you maybe just want to be alone too. Like I'm kind of an introvert. If I'm around a lot of people all the time, I also want to like go and do my own thing. But I think it's awesome because I think because you had to move across the world, this is the perfect spot because now you do have like you're seeing people every day. I love that last night, like if you guys don't know Devin, aka Tiny, you guys were streaming Search and Destroy pretty much all night here, and just like that's the type of stuff I love to see because it means like you're number one working on improving, but also like you guys got your streams up. You gotta, dude. I would love to see you stream. Like
I said it to him. I need to do it.
Do it. It's you're set up to.
Well, so I mean, I'm literally playing with him, who's streaming next to me. Like,
that's okay though. I mean, even if you just
like in the sense of I may as well. Like, what,
oh
you know
yeah,
what I mean? Like,
exactly.
If he's doing it like right next to me, we're playing. Like, why wouldn't I?
People love watching like squad streams or multi streams because then if they're synced properly, you can literally see both of the perspectives or all the perspectives, which I think is really cool. So, we're just super happy to have you here, obviously. But I kind of wanted to ask you a little bit about like how did you go pro? How did you start? I know you probably get asked so much, but like. Where did Alexx come from? Because I first heard of you in World War II.
Yeah.
And that's kind of when you like went pro, right?
That was pretty much my like breakout year.
Yeah. So how long were you playing before you had your breakout?
So I always kind of played like, because my brother kind of got me into it. Like I never played like obviously at a high level. Like you need to be 18 to compete. So I always kind of played for fun. Like I went to like a few events when I was like younger, like AW, like just for fun really. Like
So you've been playing a while.
A while, like not to like, you know, the level we are now or anything like that. Like
right.
kind of
like you were playing pubs.
Yeah, like just for fun more or less. And then IW, that's when I was 17, almost 18. So I went to IW Champs, which was my first ever American event, and that was with Team Infused. And we got top 12 at that event, which was kind of my first, like...
It's not bad.
It's not bad for, like,
your first time?
my first ever American event. Like, we beat, what was it, Rise that event? Like, the first round.
Damn, Rise Nation.
Yeah, so that was kind of like, I kind of started to get my name out there, like, EU scene-wise.
Mm-hmm.
Then World War II started, like, I went to a few, like, AM events at the start, you know, the Opens.
Yes.
And then it got to a point, when was it? It was just before Anaheim. I ended up joining Unilad. Obviously,
nice.
like
that's
know,
like one of the biggest like British teams.
Exactly. Like they weren't too great when I joined them. Like I think every event up to that point they had gotten top 16, I think.
Mm-hmm.
So I joined that team. We went to the Pro League, did pretty good. Then we went to Anaheim, and that was like kind of where everything like kicked off.
And this was during World War II
this was
or before?
World War II.
Okay.
Anaheim, we got top 4 at the event, and that was where we played
what?
Optic.
What?
Optic in the losers, I don't know what round, and it went like, it was a ridiculous series, went 5-5, we ended up winning it.
How do I not remember? I probably repressed this memory.
If you've seen it, you probably would know, because it was a ridiculous series.
Oh.
And then ever since that event, and especially in the EU scene, I kind of like cemented myself as like
a player,
a good player.
Yeah.
And then from that, I just kind of carried it on really. Like,
yeah.
Like we went playoffs, did good, champs, like into Black Ops 4, like.
I always thought it was impressive that the EU teams would like always travel. They got to a point where they were always traveling instead of just waiting and hoping for a Gfinity event or something over in London.
I mean, the amount of 8 to 10 hour flights I've done is ridiculous.
Dude, I hate flying,
yes,
so like I don't know how.
I've had to easily done about 30 8 to 10 hour flights. It's ridiculous. Like
you're like a pro at this point.
Yeah, I mean, you don't get used to it. I'll tell you that. You definitely don't get used to it. Like,
time. Do you try to sleep or?
I try, but
you ever go bougie and get one of those pods?
I did upgrade once.
One time.
Actually, that was when I came to Minnesota for that week. Do you remember, a while ago?
Yeah.
I thought it was a good price, and I thought I'm gonna just do it. Like, I'm gonna do it. Yeah, like.
Was it worth? Was it worth it? Would you do it every time?
Honestly, it wasn't worth it, but it was nice.
Really?
Like, honestly, the money you pay, it's never going to be worth it, but it's nice. It's nice.
It's pretty expensive.
You can lay down on a plane, like, it's nice. Do you know what I mean?
I want all plane seats to be like that forever.
Definitely. Especially when you're doing an 8 to 10 hour flight.
No, I want it for a 45-minute flight, too.
I mean, I wouldn't complain. I definitely wouldn't complain.
Yeah.
I mean, actually, just go all in and just get your own private jet.
Yeah,
you got the new car.
Whatever.
That's a great idea.
Go full flex. In 1 week you will be in Atlanta preparing to play. We are going to play Paris first, and if you guys caught London, it's not pool play, but it's group play. And it's basically like, and Trevor, who's right next to me listening, and Ellie, who's shooting, our lovely crew here. You guys are awesome. Trevor was explaining to me, or kind of like putting a good explanation onto it, because it's a tiny bit confusing when you're first looking at like the schedule.
I was a bit confused at first before someone explained it.
Yeah, but it's basically like there's a double elimination bracket happening in the groups, and then if you win 2 games out of that, you go into the final championship bracket, which is single elimination. Because I was confused, like, and this is probably not good for me to share, but I was confused during London when the Ravens lost and Scraps had maybe it was Wuskins who had his head in his hands. And I was like, wait, isn't there a losers bracket?
Yeah, because they hadn't lost.
I thought they were. I was like, oh yeah, because they hadn't lost yet, and then they're out, which is high stakes. I mean,
it is.
What really? And at first I was like, well, that's lame. Like they should get another chance because they haven't lost yet. However, the more I thought about it, like it really puts those weight on those matches, which is what I think the league 100%. Was looking for. Like every match has heavy weight on it.
Yeah, and ultimately there needs to be, because it's the point system that decides who makes the playoffs at the end of the year.
Right.
They needed a way where it evened out, and then if you went through the losers bracket and played significantly more matches, that didn't create an advantage for those teams.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're a fan watching on Saturday, it's super simple. Win 2, don't lose 2.
Exactly.
Yes.
And then on Sunday, you might need to Google it and
Just
figure out.
winning.
Just
keep winning.
Yeah, just don't lose on Sunday.
Exactly.
Stay tuned to our social media. We'll provide updates
Yes,
every step of the
we'll
way.
make you guys easy to read graphics next weekend.
Exactly.
That's the plan.
I mean, I don't mind it, but like if you say like you go 2-0 in your pools, you're looking good, and then you just come out like slow in that first game, like, and say like you lose, like you just went 2-0 for like technically like no reason, like you just came out so like.
You could realistically go 2-1 on the weekend.
Exactly.
But on the flip side, you could win only 4 matches and you have a chip.
That is very true also.
That's
very true.
I thought it was kind of interesting, especially on Sunday, and I'm not sure how they can fix this, especially because they're trying to make these things happen in one day, but how Huntsman had to wait basically all day to play 1 match on Sunday, whereas Paris had played multiple.
Did they play 2?
I think so, yes.
Because Chicago came out so slow.
Yeah.
Like I said, like when you come out like slow, like you could be that team who went 2-0. You're playing a team who went through the losers, played a game already. They're warm. Like you could just come out a bit slow, like, and then you don't have any advantage, like, even though you went 2-0, like.
Yeah, it's very true. It really puts the weight on the matches. It's different, and I think that's why people are like, well, what the heck? Because it's so different. But I think we're gonna get used to it. We're gonna get used to how much weight these matches hold.
Yeah.
So obviously, Atlanta's next weekend. You're gonna be playing Paris first. Do you guys, and we don't want to tip our hat or anything, but I'm sure you guys are preparing for specifically them at this point.
Mm-hmm.
You do have a little bit of an advantage. I know we talked about at the beginning, like it's kind of hard to sit and watch another tournament be played. You're not there. I mean, obviously the season does balance out and all the teams play the same amount to have the same shot at the same amount of points. But now you guys have a lot of tape on them.
We get to watch them. Because they obviously played.
And they played a lot last weekend.
Yeah, no, they played a lot of games because I think like they went to the losers and they went on a bit of a run. So they played a lot of games.
So you're going to have, I guess, a tiny bit of an advantage going into next weekend because you've played 2 matches against the Gorillas in Toronto here at our home opening weekend.
No, that was opening. Like the game changes so often, like the meta, that realistically that first event's kind of like probably going to get to
the film from that is
it's going to get to a point where it's kind of like invalid, like, do you know what I mean?
When you guys have practiced so much since then
changed,
that maybe like your style has changed.
Exactly.
But I mean, this was just last weekend, so the events are effectively happening every 2 weekends, and there are some runs where it's every weekend, which I'm really, as a COD fan, I'm just super excited for.
You'll get to a point. I mean, after this event, we play like how many back-to-back events?
It's a lot.
It's a good amount.
It's like
there's a week off between Atlanta and then we go to LA. But then we have 3. Then I think we have another week or 2 off after LA. But then we have 3 and 4 weeks.
Yeah, exactly. So when you're like going to every event, you're going like every, like you said, every like other like weekend. So like it's a grind.
It gets a lot less of maybe like gameplay changes happening. But when there's like, this is effectively a month since you guys played one by the time you play Paris next weekend.
Exactly.
Do you guys feel like pretty good? I mean, obviously, like you said, it's hard to not play, but do you feel pretty good about how practice has been going and lead up? Like, obviously, we did a bunch of content with you this week. We'll try to keep it to a minimum next week so you guys can put your heads down. But how are you feeling about the team since opening 2-0, and how are you feeling going into the Paris match?
Well, obviously, like we've been practicing. Obviously, a few people went home. Like, I think it's only me and Adam here at the moment. People get back tomorrow and Sunday.
Monday,
So as soon as people get back, like obviously we're still playing when everyone's away, but when people get back for that week, I think Sunday we're all back for that whole week. Like it's gonna be it's gonna be like 2 maybe 3 scrims, S&D, like VODs, everything, like
every day.
Exactly, like we're gonna be
like
doing
12-hour days.
Yeah, we're gonna be doing that now, but like once everyone's here, it's just so much easier.
Yeah,
like that's
good to hear.
That's another like benefit with this. Like when everyone's in the same room, scrims, VODs, everything, it's just so much easier.
Really?
Because like you're in person, like it's just easy.
Yeah, talk a little bit about that. So a map ends, you're taking off the headset, and you're right next to your teammates, right? Like that makes it just easier to communicate.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like,
or even like, I suppose like little things that are happening. Like if you say, "Oh, dude, well during this round, like it's a lot better when you can see the person you're talking to. There's body language, it's everything.
Speak to the person, like it just makes, like I said, it just makes things
Instead
a
of
million
like,
times easier.
because like, I mean, maybe you guys are like talking on Discord or TeamSpeak or whatever, and then you don't know if like, you know, RØKKR is over there flipping through Instagram or whatever. Not saying he would like ignore Alexx, but it's just an example. Like when you're all in the same room, you guys know you're there, you're determined and focused.
You don't know exactly what's happening when you're talking over the headset if they're even paying attention. Like
obviously
this team, people aren't gonna do that, but like it just helps. Like I said, it just helps.
Yeah, well, that's good to hear because we put a lot of emphasis on it when we were building the team and everything.
Yeah, I mean that's why we built this facility, why we invested in it. It's to give, honestly, it's to give you, the other players, the coaches, the best chance to win, and great resources for the staff, hopefully as well. But, so when you were watching the London event, so when Paris is playing, knowing that we're gonna play them next, are you watching for certain things, or are you more just are you just watching it and you're gonna wait until you come in with the coaches and dive in?
It really depends. Like S&D, you can do that. Like you can see like what they do on certain rounds, like how we can kind of counter that, like in that sense. But like respawn, hardpoint, that's kind of like once the game starts, like, you know what I mean? Like that's just your own practice, like everything like that. You can't really like counter a team in like a respawn, like from watching VODs. You know what I mean?
It's more just self-improvement during respawn because like, I mean, S&D is a lot more like, well, maybe Kismet always goes to this area.
Yeah, like you can counter, like you can, like S&D is that's where you do like VOD strats like heavy, like, do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's
and it's interesting now because before obviously our launch event, nobody like would stream Search and Destroy really, or if they did, it was like hodgepodge, like tournaments, one and dones and stuff.
Yeah.
But now there's actual film of the tournament and
on
like
LAN, exactly.
Yeah, on LAN. And I mean, listen, not to say Paris isn't going to change their S&D strats maybe before the next event or be conscious that maybe now you guys know, but it's still...
everyone knows, like, if you don't think the other team's going to watch your, like, VODs, like, then you're just technically stupid.
Yeah,
like,
that's the chess match of it,
exactly.
Right? Like, okay, we did this the last time, did we know we're going to do it again?
Like, you can mix a few things up, like, keep it the same, like, but you're going to keep some stuff the same, like, you are, like, that's just how people are, like, once you have something like down, like you just consistently do that, and then that's where we make the play counter, do whatever, like.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you're feeling pretty excited for next weekend? Is it just like you're chomping at the bit to just like get back?
It's like I said, like watching events like for a player is just hard because like you just think I want to be on that stage, I want to be playing, like. I just can't wait for it, really.
What was it like? Were you surprised at all at the reception of how Minnesota like received you guys and cheered you guys on, and like was it weird to like do a walkout before the match? Like, how did you think of all the excitement?
Honestly, I expected to have like a home crowd, but like not to this extent. Like, it was ridiculous. Like, I don't think I've ever felt like that in my life, walking through that crowd, like everyone like screaming your name, like everything like that, getting on that stage. I've never felt like that ever in my life.
Flames on stage when you get up there.
The way I felt after all that, like, I felt like I could do anything.
Like,
do you know what I mean?
recharged.
Exactly. Like, it was ridiculously like cool. And then obviously when you play, like the crowd, like when you make a play, you hear the crowd scream. It's like next level. Like,
what did you make of? So you can obviously you have soundproof headphones on while you're up there, but you do have earbuds in to communicate with your teammates. And from what I'm hearing from the London event, sometimes when the crowd is that loud, it feeds into the mic, and maybe you can hear the crowd sometimes. What did you make of the crowd? Trying to not only cheer on their team, but they were like giving away search. Like if the enemy team of whoever was playing London started to go B, the crowd would start to scream B. Like, what do you make of that?
I mean, realistically, it's not a good thing because like if I'm playing the home team who like the crowd are screaming, like it's like that's not alright. Like alright, that's not good. Like But our event, I don't know. I don't think that was a problem. Like,
no, I don't think it was happening at our event. It was something that specifically happened.
It probably really depends on like the venue, how it's set up.
True.
Like how the crowd, you know what I mean? Like
how close. And
our event was like
you could just hear the cheers.
Yeah, like if you popped like a 3-piece, did a good play, like you'd hear this.
Which you did multiple times.
You just feel the rumble.
Yeah, you'd hear it. Like you could feel it. Like, but other than that, like that wasn't any of like, oh, we knew they were on the bomb. Like
no, no, I was just saying because like
it definitely has happened though.
Yeah, it didn't happen here, but it happened at London, and there was kind of a big like, well, not a back and forth, but like. People were saying like it's rude of the crowd to do that.
I mean, it is though, isn't it? Like at the end of the day, it's two teams playing each other.
And if I was if I'm London, I wouldn't want them to do that.
We also don't know if they're saying the right thing. Like,
yeah.
do they know what they're talking about?
Are
they, or it could be somebody messing with you.
Exactly. And like when they're like sniped down set, like they can have the crosshairs from the sniper and the crowd's like, whoa, like the player doesn't know what that
I
is.
imagine not a professional gamer, but I imagine it could actually be more distracting if you're trying to
like think about what you're trying to do.
Yeah.
It definitely
like,
can be. It definitely can be. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah, I didn't experience it here at our event. Maybe we'll just kind of see. I feel like every homestand too now like kind of has their own flair. Like obviously London, that crowd, they had beers bigger than this thing, so they were wild.
The London crowd is different. Definitely is different.
Definitely. So I think it's gonna be interesting to see like how does Atlanta go? How does it go when we go to Dallas? And like what's the crowd really gonna be like? And I'm just excited for the season and excited for you guys to keep playing because you've had a great start, but we've got a long road ahead of us.
We've already heard from some RØKKR fans on Twitter that are coming to Atlanta. So
really?
That's awesome. Yeah.
Man, can you imagine if we had the "Let's Go RØKKR" chant in another team's venue?
If we did that, then that's just ridiculous.
Give Alexx the energy for all the three pieces.
If you're in Atlanta, do it for Alexx.
Yes.
Do it for me, please.
For all.
and if you are in Minnesota and you can't make it to Atlanta and you're like bummed out, you're like, God, I can't go. We're gonna have a watch party in St. Paul at Billy's on Grand. Am I getting that right?
You got it.
Billy's on Grand. We're having a watch party in St. Paul. It starts at I think 10 or 10:30. I want to say 10:30.
Yeah. So we'll have some programming for our first match against Paris, which we were just talking about. Yeah. So show up at 10. We'll have our gaming stations. You can hang with some of the staff that's not making the trip to Atlanta. Should be a good time.
I'll be there. Wait, you're going to Atlanta. I'm
going to Atlanta.
I'm going to be the star of the watch party, I guess. Sorry.
Probably true.
I'm going to go to the watch party. It's going to be a good time.
We want people to watch at Billy's all weekend, too.
Yes.
So we're doing a big thing for the first match because we know when that is.
Yeah.
I'll hang around.
But they'll show the matches all weekend.
Yes.
So people should hang out.
Yeah, it's going to be a good time. I think we're even going to set up a couple, like, stations to play 1v1s or 2v2s or something. Come get the heat. I've got you. Yeah, but we'll be not only that, not only do you have some people that are fans that are going to Atlanta, but we'll be cheering you on from home too, and you guys should be comforted in that fact. We're just so excited. I'm so excited to have you on the team and so excited for the team to just
I'm excited myself. Like I said, like I just want to get back to it, like finally get to this event. Like even though our event was how long ago? Not that long ago.
Only 3 weeks.
It feels like ages. Like it feels so long. Like I just can't wait, especially because this is a tournament.
Yeah.
Like our event was cool, but like it wasn't a tournament.
Yeah, there wasn't a distinct like you won.
Yeah, exactly. Tournaments are like a different vibe. Like it's like when you like the bracket, like you said, when you have to win, and as soon as you lose, you're out. Like it's different. Like
it's terrifying.
Yeah.
It's a good group too. So we start against Paris. Chicago's in the group.
Yep.
New rival Toronto.
Because I know we played Paris first game of the event.
And then I think depending on how the Toronto, I almost said Optic, Huntsman next goes.
That's okay. The casters said Chicago Optic at some point over the weekend.
Yeah.
I keep thinking it too. Like it's so weird. But anyway,
it's hard to get used to.
So if we win, we play the winner of Toronto and Chicago. If we lose, we play the loser of Toronto and Chicago.
Yeah.
That's how the first two rounds work.
So realistically, if and when we beat Paris, we will highly likely play Huntsman.
Chicago,
They obviously just came away with the W, the most points at London. They got first place. Have we played them on LAN yet? We haven't. Other than, did you guys maybe scrim them at the event?
I don't even think we scrimmed them on LAN.
Dang.
Like,
so this will be like
only ever online.
First.
Actually, I mean, we had them at our facility just before the event. Like
you guys play
here,
them?
we played them. Yeah.
Okay.
That was. I can't even remember how that was. It was so.
Oh yeah, well, and it's a scrim too.
Exactly,
you're probably not like keeping map counts in your head about a scrim.
I'm looking forward to playing. Like, you could probably say they're the best team in the game because I mean they just won the last event.
But FaZe wasn't there.
Exactly, so, that is also very true. But I'm excited to play like a top team.
Yeah.
Like,
really get that experience and
need to beat the best to be the best, right?
Exactly. Very true.
Super stoked to see you guys play next weekend. Other than that, like, I should have asked you more questions about British stuff. What's like your favorite English food that you like miss?
English food.
Because I could try to find it, maybe.
Honestly,
or we could try to make it for you.
The thing with like,
ask your mom for the recipe.
The thing with English food, like, it's kind of like English food's like other food taken. Do you know what I mean? It's not like there's not a lot of like straight up only English things.
Yeah, true.
Like maybe you could say like fish and chips. Like, is that actually like English?
Yes. Like here, if they serve fish and chips, yes.
Yeah.
Here, if they serve, especially if they call it fish and chips and not like fried fish and French fries, like if they call it fish and chips, you're like, oi, like, like right away in my head, I'm like, yo. So So maybe we could try to find you a good fish and chips. There's actually a place, because we on the content team, we've been looking up, like trying to figure out where to take you.
Yeah.
And we were looking up at a place that had fish and chips, and they were like bragging about it. So maybe you would have to try it, see if it's good.
I could do a comparison. I could do it.
Cool. All right. Well, thank you so much for coming on the podcast. Appreciate you. People listening, thank you so much. Make sure to, like I said, rate wherever you're listening. If you're listening on like iTunes, hit us with the 5 stars. If you're watching on YouTube, hit us with the like. We really appreciate it. And maybe comment your thoughts. Maybe comment like what Alexx should try that's very American. Because we just talked about like bringing him to somewhere that has like American British food. Now what like Minnesotan or American thing should we have Alexx try? Let us know. All right. Thank you so much for coming on. Thanks for listening. Peace, guys.